Hi guys, been a really long time. Sorry, it's just been crazy. The world continues to be on fire. A number of you have come in lately with this question, and somebody actually wrote in with the question, and so I thought I would address it. The question is, why does talk therapy or classic CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, why does that not work for me? Okay. So we're going to break it down Barney style. First and foremost, you are not deficient, defective, incompetent, or in any way is there anything wrong with you because CBT does not work for you. That is a modality issue, not a veteran issue. Okay, so first of all, let's get that on the table. Second of all, the important thing to understand about trauma is that one of our best theories in medicine and current psychology is that trauma is a neurological change to the brain. It's not just in thoughts and emotions. It's a neurological change that then results in cognitive thought changes or negative emotions or even positive emotions, ultimately. So with that being said, let's break it down into the left and the right hemisphere. So our right hemisphere is what stores implicit memory or felt sense or tone. It's that physiological sensation that you experience when you have anxiety or when you have a negative thought. It's the sweating, it's the nausea, it's the pressure on your chest, it's the tightness in your shoulders or that lump in your throat. That is implicit memory. Your right hemisphere is online as early as in utero, which explains why if some of you have had early trauma, early childhood trauma, under 3, under 5 even, why you may not be able to remember it or articulate it, but you definitely feel that something is wrong. Totally understandable. So the left hemisphere doesn't come online until at least age 3, but the right hemisphere is still dominant. Okay, maybe age 2, but the right hemisphere is most certainly still dominant even in those early years. So the left hemisphere stores the Broca's area. It has or stores our language center for the brain, which gives us the ability to articulate or put thoughts and feelings into words. We have quality scientific evidence that when somebody has a flashback or an intrusive thought, that the brain image looks similar to that of someone who has a stroke and how the color and the brain matter actually changes. So when you step into someone's office and they want you to talk about what happened, your Broca's area may not be firing and you may not be able to articulate what happened. The result is you feel like an idiot, first of all. And second of all, the clinician may not know what to do from there. They may stumble in trying to figure out how to help you because you can't articulate the trauma. The bottom line is that we have other trauma treatments that don't force you to articulate those things, which is why EMDR and the somatic experience therapy are so beneficial, is because it works on that implicit memory, that right hemisphere, that felt sense or tone. So the left hemisphere is important because it stores implicit memory. It was a red truck. It was black and white tile. It was a hot day. Those type of very detailed items, which you can see why people who have experienced trauma or even looking at car wrecks or law enforcement, not just deployments, but you ask for a police report and people can't tell you what happened. It's not because they're being difficult. It's because they genuinely cannot articulate what is going on or has happened to them because that area of the brain is shut down at that time. It stays with us over time. I have one veteran who works in a mental health community agency area and even worked in a prison. And his struggle is that when they have staff meetings, he said, I cannot articulate what I want to say. I end up stumbling over my tongue. I can't figure it out. And then I get anxious and then I think I'm an idiot. So you can see how the neurological issues that occur in the brain cause negative thoughts about ourselves, okay? But that is not to say it has anything to do with you. Again, you have to realize that. So remember that we have left hemisphere, explicit memory, right hemisphere, implicit memory. So let's talk about how to counter some of that, because some of you may not want to see a provider, and that's perfectly fine. So our right hemisphere, if we use the avenues of approach for the right hemisphere, we can actually get a lot farther. So in my office, don't laugh, I have lotion, I have essential oil spray, I have candles, and I have some items that you can just rub on your hand. What do they even call this? Oh, it's called a body balm. Okay, so get your mind out of the gutter. You can just rub it on the back of your hand, which is what we do, and you can take in that scent. You can do the same thing with the lotion or with the candle. This one's popular because it reminds everybody of their dip. It's spearmint flavored. And you have to realize that what we're doing is utilizing avenues of approach through the right hemisphere. So if arguing and cognitive discussion comes through our left hemisphere mostly, and we can't utilize that to get the anxiety or the worry or the fear down, then we need to go in through the right hemisphere and use those avenues of approach. So scent or smell, taste, things like eating an orange and just sitting for a moment, letting that right hemisphere do its job. Tactile items such as a kid's baseball mitt, a leather mitt, a child's blanket, or a soft toy. Something that has the ability to bring your nervous system back down to a regulated state. Because you know that you may be standing in Applebee's or wherever, and you cognitively say, I know I'm okay, it's not a big deal, but your body does not agree. And so working to reconcile those is pretty challenging. So remember these three things. One is left hemisphere is for explicit memory, okay, specific details. Right hemisphere is for implicit memory, felt sense, or tone, and that there are ways to work with that. And my number one suggestion is to find smells or other items to use in avenues of approach. They make these in car fresheners, in small tins. Keep them in your desk drawer. Keep them in your vehicle. Keep a candle in your apartment or your house, and when that anxiety shows up, just take it briefly. The same thing with hand soap. Even fabric softener sheets would work. Anything that helps bring you back down to a regulated state will be beneficial, okay? So we use these in my office when we're doing heavy duty trauma work, and they work quite well, I promise you. So give it a chance, but just know that it's not you. You're not defective. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just a modality issue. So go give it a try, and maybe someday you'll actually go work on that trauma with somebody, and you can continue to use these as your avenues of approach. Hope that helps. Take care.